Kia ora everybody, it is Sunday the 18th of December 2022 and it is 8 a.m. in New Zealand and this is the NZ Travel Show.
And this is Robin and I'm Laura and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. And it's 100% free, so why not check it out? But in the meantime, we do the NZ Travel Show, which is where the experts get together and we answer all your questions in the live chat. Anything to do with traveling in New Zealand. Great if you're not really into reading, because that's a lot
don't feel like reading. If you just want to come and ask your questions, go nuts. We read all the comments, yeah.
Yeah, so, and if you miss the live show, you can always put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos, and Robin's pretty good at responding to pretty much everything, right?
Yep. All right, so today we start with Christchurch and Rangiora rail actions. I think that's the first time we're seeing you here, so that's pretty awesome. With a simple question, what can you do in Greymouth?
There's a lot to do in Greymouth.
I have one thing that I think you absolutely should do when it's that rainy and that muddy in Christchurch.
Definitely in this weather that we're having at the moment.
You want to
go,
you want to go to on bikes. They do quite a biking tour there. It is really a lot of fun. It's literally the muddiest activity you can be doing in New Zealand. So that's definitely that would be the first thing I recommend to do in Greymouth. But if you're on a budget, there is some much cheaper things to do for sure.
Yeah, so if you want to check out a couple of walks in the area, the one right in town is called the Floodwall Walk, where you'll get some nice views of the Grey River mouth going into the sea.
And it's pretty simple. You literally just walk on the floodwall of Greymouth, so you are a bit elevated, so you get some fun views.
Yeah, and hopefully the food truck that used to be there is still there. There's a food truck at the end of the Floodwall Walk, so you can reward yourself.
So did you enjoy the walk?
And I think it was a Danish one with waffles and stuff. So yeah.
Laura doesn't care about the walk. She's walking toward the waffles.
But another walk that you can do really nearby is actually also a historical site, which is the Brunner mine site. There was a famous mining accident that happened here, and you can read all about it and also see a lot of relics and artifacts from the mining era in Greymouth. So that's an interesting site to go check out really nearby. And
the Brunner mine site, like the walk all together is about like only 2 kilometers. For you Americans with your imperial system, that's about 1.5, less than 1.5, I'd say 1.2 like miles, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just it's a relatively like short walk. And so like that, if you have like this really inconsistent weather that we're currently having in New Zealand, you may be able to just sneak that in. That's kind of an easy one. Okay, should we pick like one more thing to do in Greymouth, and then we'll see if Christchurch and Rangiora rail actions are happy with that.
Yeah, I'll go for the Monteith's Brewery.
Oh.
It's kind of a very famous thing to do in Greymouth. So yeah, Monteith's is a very popular sort of mainstream beer brand in New Zealand, and you can go to one of their breweries. In Greymouth, and do a tour, see how beer is made, do some tastings, of course, pour your own beer and see if you are awesome at pouring your own beer, all that good stuff. It's a really good like foodie thing to do as well. They also serve food, so you can do like beer pairings and stuff after your tour as well. So yeah, that's a slightly different thing to do in Greymouth, but it's still a really popular thing to do.
Yeah, and it's a great thing to do in Greymouth if it is raining, because that's an activity which is fully indoor. So I think that's a really good recommendation, especially with this very interesting summer we are experiencing at the moment in New Zealand.
Yeah, you may want to book a little bit in advance if you think you're going to Greymouth, because it is one of the limited sort of rainy day activities to do that is indoors. Sorry, that is indoors. Then yeah, it's usually quite fully booked. So if you are planning to go there and you really do want to do it, make sure you do book it in advance.
Here you go. I'm putting a link in the live chat for you guys if you want to know more things to do in Greymouth. I just added, just a few extra tidbits for you. Anyway, who else is here in the live chat?
We have Kiwi Lauren, one of our regulars, saying, "Hi team, Beauty and the Beast is done, so I'm back to check out the live stream now. So now that my Saturdays are free again."
Ooh.
How's the summer weather over there? Minus 30 degrees here today, but bright and sunny. Well, bright and sunny is certainly not what we're experiencing in New Zealand this summer, despite December being the first official month of summer in New Zealand. It has been the wettest summer I think we've witnessed so far during our time in New
I
Zealand?
cannot recall anything like that. It's just we haven't had a day with no rain since the beginning of the month, I think.
I think there's been literally one day
with no
one
rain.
day with
Okay.
no rain, and then the rest is just been relentless either drizzle or heavy rain, drizzle again. We often say that on the channel that, you know, New Zealand has 4 seasons in one day.
We have had only one season so far.
We're only having one season, and it's
The
the
other
wet
3
season.
seasons are a little late right now. When are you up?
I know. So,
Okay.
yeah. A lot of disappointed people traveling around New Zealand, I think, at the moment, hoping to find breaks in the rain. But, I mean, it means it's going to stop you from doing sort of like maybe those big weather dependent activities to do with, like, if you're going in a helicopter, it might stop you from doing things like the Tongariro crossing, that sort of thing. But there's still a lot of outdoor attractions and amazing attractions to see, especially waterfall hikes, for example. You can see them in all their glory when it is that rainy, and you know, as long as you've got a good rain jacket on, there's some beautiful forest walks and stuff you can be doing. So yeah, a lot, although obviously people hearing that it's raining all the time, it might put a bit of damper on their spirits. There's still a lot of amazing things you can still do and appreciate in the New Zealand outdoors, even though it's raining.
Yeah. All right, we also have the great Anthony Comstock that says Morena from Rodeo, California.
Morena.
And if you don't know what Morena means, it means good morning in Maori, which is the local indigenous language here in New Zealand. Anthony Comstock is one of our amazing Patreon supporter, and something special is happening for Anthony today. We are going to be looking at the photos of his last trip to New Zealand together on the Patreon live session, which happens just at the end of this show. So that's going to be quite cool. We also have Nathan Baith that says Kia ora everyone, and what is Lawrence saying?
And Lawrence is saying Kia ora, Laura, Robin, and everyone. Kia ora, Lawrence. Kiwi Lauren says, thinking of getting a map of New Zealand tattooed on me next time I'm over there. Maybe it gets left off the world map sometimes, but I may just have it on myself permanently. Haha.
Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, I do have the South Island tattooed, you know.
I have the
obviously
North
that-
Island tattooed on
Yeah,
me.
so here you go.
Yeah. And then she continues saying, I like this studio setup, looking good. I like the map and lights, plus the wood grain background is nice. Well, thank you
Aw.
very much, Kiwi Lauren.
Yeah,
yeah.
we debuted this one for our 30,000 subscriber special, I think. Is that when we...
Or was it the
Our
200th?
Our 200th
Yeah.
live show, that's what it is. So our 200th live show, we actually debuted this one, so... yeah, but I don't know what's 200 and something right now. So yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, we
yeah,
liked
for
it.
sure.
You know, we thought we'd snazz it up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. I mean, on our Patreon group, I did share a lot of like the behind the scene and how we did it. But damn, that was a lot of work.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah,
we're
it was
pretty
fun.
pleased, and we're getting some extra things to add to it as we go. So
Yes,
yeah.
I will do it, Laura. Yes, we did purchase a
We
few
have
things.
some
I just
stuff.
don't have time to say
yeah.
them just yet. Yeah. All right. So every day we ask you a question in the poll. So let's go over the
Question of the day.
question of the day.
Question
Of
the day.
oh my lord, this is so
I
bad.
may have been taken by surprise.
Oh,
then.
wow. Anyway. All right. So, question of the day today, we are asking you the following question.
Do you use packing cubes when traveling?
Ooh, somebody forgot an S right
Somebody
here.
forgot an S on the question, but that's okay.
All right. Number one. First answer is yes, second answer is no, but I should, and last answer is no. So yeah, we want to know if you guys are using packing cubes, because today we're going to be talking a little bit about packing. You know, we did receive a few questions about packing and everything, so we thought, like, you know, we'll cover a few packing tips throughout. We'll pepper it through this video as you guys keep coming with all your questions. And so yeah, we thought it'd be interesting to ask you guys if you use packing cube, because we live and swear by packing cubes, I'll be honest with you.
You may have an opinion on packing cubes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so what is Nathan saying?
Nathan says, I think you should have had a Christmas tree behind you for the Christmas season.
Laura, do we own a Christmas tree?
Well, we do have these really mini ones.
Oh, yeah, so we have a mini Christmas tree.
We could have done that. So next, as you guys may well know, in New Zealand, on next Sunday is Christmas Day,
It is.
due to time zones, etc., etc. So, so actually we will be going live on Christmas Day, and we will put a Christmas tree in the background.
Oh, I definitely won't forget, that's for
No,
sure.
I'll make sure I remember. So yeah, for our Christmas special, we'll decorate the the background for you guys. So if you do, if you're not opening presents, if you're not, not too busy on Christmas Day, you can come pop in, ask your New Zealand travel questions, and just hang out with us on Christmas morning.
There you go. And for you guys, it will be the 24th in the evening, so on Christmas
Eve.
All right, what is Kiwi Lauren saying?
Kiwi Lauren says, I have a book where I ask my son a question every day and write down his answer. Now, I've now started singing Question of the Day like Robin.
I bet.
Wow. I never thought that would catch on, really.
I bet as a music teacher, it probably sounds better than us asking each other in random ways. Question of the day?
Yeah.
Question mark. So yeah, I bet it sounds better.
I bet you can add some good instrument. Maybe you can make a jingle of Question of the Day for us, Kiwi Lauren, with some
we obviously do need jingles.
We have seen some of your videos, so I think you'd be the perfect person to do a little bit of a Question of the Day jingle for us. I mean,
don't think there's a need for that.
I think there is. I really think there is. Maybe it will stop Robin from singing it.
All right. Okay, this is completely derailed. All right. So one thing that happened in this show now is that we're following the tribulations of a French backpacker in New Zealand. His name is Armand. And he has kindly decided to report to us every week, telling us what happens during his gap year in New Zealand. So let's have a look at what he's doing this week. And we'll be back in about 3 minutes when he's done reporting. So in the meantime, enjoy.
Kia ora guys, this is Armand providing you guys with updates on the 11th week of my working holiday in New Zealand. As you can see, I'm still in Rotorua in the government gardens right now. I will go to Wellington next week to take care of some paperwork, and then to Auckland after a few days. So on Sunday we went to a bar with a few French people from the hostel to watch the France-England game, and as expected we won. And everybody was so cheerful, except the English fans, of course. Sorry, guys. Then on Monday, I did the Rotorua dock tour on the 3 lakes, and it basically involves taking an amphibious vehicle and going to 3 different lakes. That was fun. I wouldn't say it was the most memorable experience I've done so far, but the driver provides interesting insight on the mythology and history of the volcanic region of Rotorua and Taupo. I also did some rock climbing on that day, which I had never done before. I did this at the Rock Solid Backpackers Hostel. That was fun. I was supposed to go on a horse trek on Tuesday, but unfortunately I got a call telling me it had been cancelled. So it was postponed to Tuesday, but as it was raining also on that day, it got cancelled and postponed again. Hopefully I'll do it tomorrow on Saturday, but honestly at this point it's a long shot. The weather has been consistently poor for the past few days, and I don't see the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, so I did take the opportunity actually to stay indoors and take care of my trip planning for South Korea and Japan. So that's out of the way. I think that wraps it up for this week, guys. So until next week, cheers!
Alright, so duck tour in Rotorua, rock climbing, all that thing. You can definitely see that he's trying to kind of avoid the rain and doing things which are undercover.
I mean, duck tour makes a lot of sense for a rainy day. It's like ducks love the rain.
Yeah, and also you're undercover for the whole time, so it's kind of a handy tour for sure. So yeah. And speaking of the duck tour, Lauren says that's funny. There are duck tour on boats in Rotorua. It's a must-do here in Boston.
Okay.
Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, duck tours are a thing apparently. So
in Boston, they take you onto the river and you go and fish for some little tea bags from the tea revolution that you guys had in Boston. Is that why you need a duck boat? Because most of the time you really don't need a duck boat for those kind of tours. But yeah. All right, Nathan says.
I may pop in for Christmas Day next week, but only for a quick chat with everyone else. Not you, Robin.
Yeah.
Not me.
No,
everyone else.
Kiwi Lauren says, a worst idea ever. Kiwi Lauren's question of the day jingle.
I don't think it's the worst idea ever. I think it's almost the best. Almost up there with the best ideas ever.
And Lauren says, lol, you try to not get an old shopping cart out of the Charles River. Oh, wow. Okay, that is the kind of wildlife that you're seeking around Boston. That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, what is Kiwi Lauren asking?
Kiwi Lauren says, was there a moment after moving to New Zealand that you thought, yep, I'm definitely a local now? Or did you feel like a visitor for quite a while?
I think, like, for me, like, I felt like a local quite early on, but I feel like a lot of people that I meet along the way do make me feel like a visitor. Like, they all, like, kind of comment on my accent and kind of just point out that I wasn't born in New Zealand, especially within the tourism industry, which is... It's just a different kind of beast. So I feel like, I felt like a local quite a lot, despite the fact quite a few people try to make you not, like, feel like a visitor personally. But that's kind of how I personally feel.
Yeah, I guess, once you leave sort of it's not really our hometown, but like the place where we're living, it's like once you leave that area, once you're traveling around New Zealand, and although we do obviously know New Zealand really well, we often know it better than locals sometimes. It is, again, like Robin says, people kind of do treat you like you are a visitor or a backpacker, and
But at the local supermarket, the lady that seals it every week is still asking me where I'm from all the time. So
I mean,
I think that's her problem.
I guess like people are often, when they do meet us, they're usually like, where you from? And then we kind of just as a joke say like, oh yeah, this is the town that we're living in, New Zealand. And they're like, no, where are you really from?
Yeah, you always say that.
It's always like that, like, where are you really from? But so I would say, like, I mean, you have your small community where you're living, and that kind of makes you feel more like a local, but only once you establish that little community, I guess, that's when you feel like a local. But you never really feel like a local outside of your little community, I guess.
Yeah. Nathan says, are you going to do 2 travel shows on Christmas Day? Just asking. 2 travel shows. What do you mean? Are we going to do like the NZ travel show on like the normal one at 8 a.m? That's the one that we.
Are you doing the Patreon show after that?
Am I doing the Patreon? I don't know. I will discuss with the Patreon literally today. I will actually chat with them and see if any one of them is going to show up, because it's probably an inconvenient time. It's
probably the most inconvenient time of the entire year.
So if nobody's gonna show up, we just reschedule it and do an extra one somewhere during January. Like it's kind of like how we've been doing it kind of a lot. So it's kind of like sometimes you just shift things around. So that if that's what you're asking, that's the answer. Kiwi Lauren says, where do you buy groceries from most often? I seem to remember Pack and Save being the cheapest option. Countdown was quite a good middle of the road option, and New World was the most expensive. So we do a mix between Pack and Save and New World. By far in Taupo, Countdown is by far the most expensive one that's available in central North Island. But so we do a mix of both, wherever we are, like the closest. That's kind of where we go.
And you will find that depending on which town you're in, the supermarkets are very different. Like the Pack and Save in Auckland can be like super expensive. What we figured recently when we got back from our flight from Samoa, we were like, oh yeah, we'll probably get some cheap groceries in Auckland before coming back down to the central North Island. And it was not the case. Auckland was much more expensive. The Pack and Save in Auckland for the same stuff was more expensive than it is in the central North Island. So it really depends on the place, like the different towns you're in. I don't really know what the sort of the pattern is, like what makes a place cheaper than the other, but because I would have thought that, because we were in quite a cheap part of like Auckland, where people are usually shopping on a budget. However, it was more expensive than some like other parts where usually there's quite a lot of wealthy people living there. You would have thought that they would hike up the prices for the wealthy people, but no, that wasn't the case. So it's really odd. There's not really Pack and Save tends to be branded as the cheapest, and usually is, but not always.
All right, so we have some people pitching in. Lawrence Entamo says that New World were their favorites. I have to say, it is like the best looking, like kind of more best presented kind of Chinese supermarket. I do agree with that. Okay, we have Louis right here that says, hi, thanks for your videos. I am French and I organized my trip to New Zealand in PVT, which is Permis Vacances Travail, which is Working Holiday Visa.
Okay.
That's the French way of saying it.
Okay.
For New Year...
Next year.
For next year, sorry. For work, we need to have a bank account of New Zealand, or can we use a neobank, which is like a French bank account from the French bank accounts? No, you will need a New Zealand bank account for sure. So yeah, you do need a New Zealand bank account in order to work and travel in New Zealand. It's not that hard to do actually. If you do watch the first video of Armand's Lite on our channel, Armand is a French backpacker that is traveling around New Zealand, is reporting every week for us. He actually did that Lite on his first week, but let me show you quickly how to find more information about this on the site. So here you are, Louis. So if you go on nzpocketguide.com, so it's the New Zealand's largest travel guide, and it's our travel guide right here. It's all free for you to use. You can go here on work in New Zealand, and here we have plenty of categories right here to help you with working in New Zealand. But easiest, you just go here and you type bank account. Right here, and you don't make any typos because I'm an idiot. But yeah, if you don't make any typos right here, we have a full guide right here on how to open your bank account, as well as how to transfer money and everything like that. So if you click right here, we actually guide you through the entire process of opening your bank account slowly. We talk about all the different banks that you have, all their conditions and everything, and you can go through all the steps one by one, and they're all written in very simple English, so very plain language, so it's going to be easy for you to just follow up at your own pace. So yeah, so just go through that. It is actually, I know it looks like a lot of text, but we're going through a lot of details, but it is actually very easy to do. So don't panic too much. It is not going to be the hardest thing to do for your gap year. In fact, I will argue that it is one of the easiest things to do for your gap year, Louis. Oh no. Speaking of that, oh wow. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Whoopsie. All right, Louise, I probably just destroyed your ears with almonds. But yeah, so we do have the full guide for you right here. But yeah, Louis, if you do have any extra questions about your gap year and everything, just keep on coming back regularly and asking questions. That's literally what we do every single week at this time. And we help you like plan your gap year and all that. And even if you want a little bit more, you can join us on Patreon. There is a link below, and you'll have access to a secret Facebook group where you can literally ask us questions like every single day, and we're always there to kind of like post some stuff. And we also do an extra live show as well. Armand is part of our Patreon group, for example. It's like $5 a month. It's super cheap. So yeah, check it out. Anyway, Kiwi Lauren says, I just sent you my New Zealand travel saving trackers on Messenger. I shared a blank template on your Facebook page a while ago. Now mine is almost filled all the way in. Exciting.
We'll have to check that out.
Yes, I will pick up my phone, do that while you read what Louis is saying.
Louis says, thank you. You're very welcome,
Do you want to practice say Louis in French? Louis.
I said Louis. You're saying it with an S.
Oh, wow, okay.
Even in English, you pronounce it Louis, right? I thought you did. I've known English people and we call them Louis.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I always heard people saying the S for some reason. Okay.
There is...
Excusez-moi, Louis.
Yeah. No, actually, I have heard there was one guy in my school called Louis as well. So I think it's kind of a personal thing. Like they decide whether they say it's how they, I guess, introduce themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've heard it said both ways.
Okay, how do you pronounce Benjamin then?
Well, that's pretty easy. My brother's called Benjamin, so yeah. Benjamin says,
maybe that's your brother.
Well, no, his second name's not Steiner. Benjamin says, hi, I saw a lot of your videos. Thanks for them. I really appreciate them. We are flying tomorrow from Austria to New Zealand, 29-hour flight. Eek. Really looking forward, and we are really excited. Oh, that is really exciting. If you have any last-minute questions, Benjamin, any last-minute
When
things...
is he coming?
Well, he's coming, flying tomorrow.
Whoa, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, have you packed your bag?
Yeah, any last minute questions, feel free to go ahead and ask away.
I'm trying to figure out how the internet works and trying to get messages, but...
And or if there's something that you're like on your bucket list that you're really excited to do, share with us. We're happy to talk about it, or happy to just read your comments.
I hate the internet.
Louis says, is laughing and saying no problem.
Actually, he says in very French way, non problem.
Non-problem, yeah. Lawrence says there's Louis and Louis. Ah, well, yeah. That I guess, yeah, maybe the Louis I knew actually didn't have an S on the end.
Yeah, because they say like, what would you say, like the Louis Armstrong, right? The famous like trumpetist, right? Everybody says Louis,
There's
right?
a famous trumpeter?
Yeah, there is. He's really famous. Ah.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Kimmy Lauren, please help me with that. Do you know this person, right? Anyway, all right, we get completely sidetracked.
Anthony says it's like tomato and tomato, or tomato and tomato, tomato and tomato.
Potato and potato.
Potato and potato. Yeah. We're having a lot of discussion about this name. It's quite interesting. And then Kiwi Lawrence is laughing at Anthony, saying, I read that like tomato. Yeah, like I read it tomato. So yeah.
All right, sorry,
pronunciation's funny.
Yeah, sorry, Kiwi Lauren, I can't see your message. I don't know. I don't know. Like the app. The business kind of Facebook app is so delayed.
I often get notifications for the business.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Robin, get back onto the live show.
Yes.
I'll find it for you.
Okay, well, you deal with that. Anyway, all right, guys. So we thought today we'd talk about packing tips. For Benjamin, for example, which is literally coming in. Well, only a few hours and flying off. Hey, Machua, how are you doing? Saying Morena. So we thought about talking about packing tips. So the first thing that I wanted to address when talking about packing for a trip to New Zealand is your carry-on. So we find that a lot of people actually are struggling a little bit about what needs to be in your carry-on and what needs to be in your check-in luggage when it comes down to flight and flight regulations. So yeah, just a couple of things that cannot be in your carry-on, right? So anything like sharp objects. So even if you are packing a nail clipper, you're better off actually putting it in your main suitcase, your check-in luggage, rather than actually packing it in your carry-on, because that may be confiscated. Any sporting goods such as like bats, ski poles, all these kind of things, obviously that needs to go in your main luggage, not in your carry-on. Any matches, lighter and all that, just no. So any of those kind of things. Then I'm going to skip all the obvious, which is like aerosol, like weapons, tasers, all those kind of things. Like, come on, let's just be obvious. And then the other thing that you need to absolutely have in your carry-on is I was talking about what you can't have, but the thing that you need to have in your carry-on. For us, for example, we always travel with a ton of cameras. That's kind of our job, right? Well, every single time you have cameras with batteries and those kind of things, you actually need to have it in your carry-on. You need to have it with you. And so that's something that a lot of people get really confused by. And we see that literally when we're checking to our last flight. We did fly to Samoa recently. We actually saw some people having to take their bag off and reopen it and take their camera because they thought the batteries need to go in your check-in luggage. So there is a certain rating. Like if it goes above a certain rating, it needs to be in your check-in luggage. But at that point, I think that you do know what you're doing. So we're not going to cover that. But yeah, if you do have any electronics and everything, do not hide them in your check-in luggage and take them in your carry-on. That's the first thing I wanted to talk about, just because I find that a lot of people find that a little confusing. All right, before you get the tips, let's just go over other comments. So Lawrence is strongly commenting for the packing cube. Yes, I do agree with that. What is Benjamin saying?
Benjamin says, we did some last minute preparation because I checked some of your videos, the NZDT and the international driving license. We are starting our 3-week road trip with Kiwi campers from Christchurch.
Oh, nice. You're going to have a blast, Benjamin. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that'll be quite a large motorhome as well if you're getting it from Kiwi Camper, if you're talking about the company. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, Benjamin says we, so you're probably not traveling alone. So who are you traveling with, Benjamin? All right, so what is Kiwi Lauren saying?
She says, yes, of course I know Louis Armstrong. Most people pronounce it Louis, but the inner jazz circles say it like Louis. Anyway, very, very, very famous jazz trumpet player.
See, I'm part of the inner jazz circles because I said Louis, so here you go. I'm in the inner jazz circle. That's who I am.
And she says, Laurie, you would probably recognize his gravelly singing voice from the song What a Wonderful World. Yes. That is a better way of describing it.
What? What, are you using the name of the guy? Oh my God.
I know that. Yeah, cool. And then she says, I sent the tracker again. Somehow I think I sent it to your Instagram account from Messenger first. Anyway, it should be there now. I think it's pretty cute, so I'm a bit chuffed with myself. Oh, very nice. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, there's a big delay. So since it's like a business Facebook page, whatever, we actually do use there's a business app for Facebook when you own a business page and everything, and there's so many bugs and delays and everything. Anyway, you know my love for social media.
Yeah, not much love.
All right, Laura, what's your packing tips? What's your first packing tip of the day? Packing tip of the day. Woo.
I would say there are obviously some packing essentials that you need for New Zealand, and very thematic, judging by the weather we are experiencing in New Zealand, especially right now, despite it being summer, is to pack a very good rain jacket. Don't take your cheapest rain jacket or one of those sort of, scrunched up ponchos from Disney World. No, you want a real good, like, actual outdoor walking store rain jacket that is going to, that is basically going to keep you dry. There's nothing worse than, doing hikes and getting wet, soaking. I'm even not doing hikes. I say hikes and that sounds like a big word. It's more like even just doing a short walk to go and see some beautiful natural attractions, which is kind of what New Zealand is all about. Having a rain jacket will just make you feel so much more comfortable, so much more warmer, drier. Even in summer when it's raining, it can still make you pretty cold, even though the temperatures are a bit warmer. That wet, cold rain, it can make you pretty chilly. So you definitely want to have that rain jacket. Not only take it with you to New Zealand, but always have it in your day pack, even if it's just like tucked to the bottom. Even if you don't think it's gonna rain, it's just always good to have it sort of handy and available as you are doing your outdoor activities around New Zealand.
I'll piggyback on that and I'll say, in fact, that brings something that you should not pack for coming to New Zealand, and don't pack an umbrella. In New Zealand, you do need a good rain jacket. Do not pack an umbrella. That's going to be no help at all, because when it rains, there is some wind and the umbrella is not going to help you with that.
Yeah.
All right, so Louis is saying, do you know which nationality is the more represented on the working holiday visa? Do you see a lot of French? So there is obviously a lot of French people in New Zealand. They are one of the biggest kind of like users of the working holiday visa. In fact, in our Patreon group that I was talking about, so it's a little tight-knit community that we kind of support and help. There is at least 3 French or people that speak French at least, within the group already. So that's kind of cool. Now, I used to be really involved in the backpacker scene and the working holiday scene and everything like that. So yeah, there is obviously a lot of French, but obviously there's always more German. German are traveling way more.
There's a bit more Germans,
And then after people that you see a lot as well, but they're not really. They're often not hanging out in kind of like the backpacker crowd and everything. There's a lot of English as well. But they usually come here and they just go more trying to go for work. Like they're not really doing too much of the backpacking thing. They will do the backpacking thing for like a month and then they're just going to work, which is not the best way to organize your working holiday visa at all. All right, Q Lawrence says...
A nice little dig at the English there.
No, it's just kind of like...
but I do tend to agree.
You were literally nodding an agreement.
I do tend to agree, but I just couldn't let that slide that you were kind of giving a bit of...
Do you notice that Armand in his video today was doing a bit of a dig to the English in the football?
No, I mean, French people just naturally do that to the English, like if we could just do, just insert a little insult here, insert a little insult there, then, that makes them happy.
All right, what is Kiwi Lauren saying?
Kiwi Lauren says, no worries, eventually you might see it on one platform or another. I have a bunch of packing cubes ready to use for my next trip to New Zealand, but they've never been used yet.
Ooh, christening those packing cubes with a trip to New Zealand is a pretty good christening.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There's such a thing as a christening of packing cube, of course, that exists. Yes. Yeah, okay, right. All right, what is Benjamin having to say, Laura?
He says, coming in with my girlfriend, but after the vacation, my future wife, hopefully. Ooh, you're planning to propose.
I hope she's not watching that. I feel that's a bit risque to say that, like, live on the internet, my friend.
Yeah, and he says...
13 people right here may just, say it and try to find you. Yeah.
And then he continues saying, we are renting a 7-meter long big motorhome, already practice driving on the left side in Cyprus.
Oh, nice. Actually, Benjamin, if you want to plan where to propose to your girlfriend, we actually do have on nzpocketguide.com the most romantic places in New Zealand. So you may want to check this article and see if there is a place that you think is quite suitable and that will make do. Or maybe you already have a plan, and if you do, share with us. May as well spoil the whole surprise.
I mean, share. Yeah. Sharing is caring. Louis also says, does the French have a good reputation or not?
Do they have a good reputation? I'll be honest, they are not the backpackers that have the best reputation around the world. In all fairness. There are news stories of people kind of, stealing and stuff like that. It's quite often it's French backpackers. A little bit of the, less reliability for work and those kind of things. So I'll be honest, French people don't have the best reputation, but you can be a good one. And the good thing with Kiwis is that they wouldn't base themselves on reputation. So, that'd be okay. All right. Christchurch and Rangiora Rail Action says, what can you do in Greymouth? Christchurch and Rangiora, we actually started the whole live stream by answering your questions. So we talk about that for about 5 minutes. So if you only rewind all the way to the beginning of the live stream, you were the first question that we took. So thank you very much for putting the question just before we were live. That was awesome. But yeah, we did already answer
your question.
Yeah. Kiwi Lauren has a suggestion for Benjamin for
yeah,
proposal.
It's quite hilarious.
I will not follow that suggestion if I were you, mate, but go for it.
If you want to do perhaps the
classiest,
the classiest, definitely not the tackiest way of proposing, Kiwi Lauren suggests plant the ring in a Ferg burger.
Oh my
God.
God.
A Ferg burger, I don't know if there's anyone that doesn't know what a Ferg burger is, but just in case.
It's a widely overrated burger in Queenstown. Moving on!
Yeah. Pretty much. It's a very, very famous burger joint in Queenstown that literally has queues going down the street because everybody wants to try those big, oversized burgers.
All right. Cool.
Baby Burns.
Yeah, Baby
Sup,
Burns.
guys?
Sup, guys? All right, guys, I'm just going to do a quick chat about Patreon and then we'll keep on going with Benjamin's comment. All right, everybody. So if you guys don't know, we are on Patreon. Patreon is a platform where you can support creators like us to help you provide this content for free for the beautiful internet. So joining us on Patreon gives you a lot of awesome perks. You are able to get our help with your itinerary or support for your gap year. You have access to a secret Facebook group in order to ask us questions all week long. We share a lot of behind the scenes. We also give you some PDF travel guides and many more perks. So if you feel like joining us on Patreon, there is a link in the description of this video. Again, it starts at only about $5 a month. You can cancel anytime, and so yeah, it's a great way to get yourself even more time with us. And better all, every single time we do a live session like this one, we do an extra hour exclusive for the Patreons where we can be even more candid. It'd be more like it's just kind of like it's just much more candid and much more honest. So yeah, if you kind of want to go for it, yeah, join us then. Not that we're not honest. Usually we're very, very much honest, but it's just kind of another thing. So yeah, here you go. Join us on Patreon. There's a link below. All right, we were at Benjamin and says, may you give me a quick update on the big C regulation in NZ? Are they really strict down under? Thanks for the information. I will check it on.
Check this out right now.
The big C.
What's the big C regulation?
I don't know what the big C is. Benjamin, I think I may just be out of the loop on that one. What's the big C?
Maybe I'll have a quick look.
Maybe it's a slang that I'm not aware. I'm too old now. Okay, Christchurch and Rangiora say, all good, mate. You're very welcome. That was awesome. You gave the questions and we answered that straight away. I like it. I like it a lot. Louis says, so I need to come in New Zealand to change the reputation of French people. I like it, mate. That is a good... big C, COVID. That's what he says. There you go. Lawrence said it. Corona regulation. Okay, Benjamin Lawrence.
Right.
You guys got it. Okay, I get it. Okay, so COVID-19 right now in New Zealand. That's a good question. Quick update. So basically, we kind of don't care about COVID too much anymore. So pretty much the vast majority of the population is... yeah, I'll show this one, Baby Burns, but be careful.
YouTube didn't like that one.
YouTube really didn't like this one. Anyway, COVID. In New Zealand, there's pretty much no restrictions. When you're going to arrive at the airport, there will be like stacks of COVID tests, like rat tests, if you want to pick one. And you can just do the test and you can report them through a little bit of an app if you want to do it, but it's not mandatory, it's voluntary. They don't really have to wear masks. You'll see some people here and there wearing masks, but you don't have to wear masks pretty much anywhere unless you go to health facilities. So if you go to see a doctor, if you go to a hospital, anything like that, then you have to wear a mask. That's pretty much the extent of the COVID regulations here in New Zealand. Cool. Good question. Sorry, I could not get it. I'm too I'm too not in with the kids. I speak the words in full.
Yeah.
All right, Louis say no. We already read Louis. Nur. So Nur says, hi, I plan to visit Aoraki Mount this January. Ooh, fun. But it looks like the shuttle to Mount will only be operating in the summer of 2023. Is there any alternative to get there except from self-driving?
Yeah.
How do you get to Mount if you don't drive yourself?
So you could be taking is the intercity bus going there?
Yeah, Intercity.
Pretty sure, yeah. So Intercity, which you may, if you already have decided to not self-drive, you probably are well aware of what Intercity is. It's the national bus network going pretty much to all the main towns, even smaller villages around New Zealand. And so that is one way to get to Mount Cook. However, they will have obviously a limited schedule. You will have to look into, they'll only do, say, one bus going back up and down in a day. So you may have to stay there overnight. So that may be the sort of downside of doing Intercity. However, other ways that you can go to Mount Cook is to go on guided tours. So there are quite a few guided tours where they'll take you from usually tourist hotspots like Christchurch or Queenstown. I know that's quite a long way from Mount Cook, but they are those tour companies that exist. But you may be able to find something a little bit closer, perhaps from Lake Tekapo. There are quite a few not shuttle companies, but like guided tour companies. Well, they'll take you into Mount Cook, show you a few attractions, give you some suggestions of what to do. Everyone has their own sort of each tour company has their own sort of thing that they'll do. They'll either take you on a fully guided experience where they'll be there with you the whole time, or they may just really primarily offer the transport and give you free time once you are in Mount Cook. So you may have the time, for instance, to do the Hooker Valley Track, which is a really popular walking trail which takes about 3 hours to complete. So you will, maybe you want to look into guided tour options. So if you look at Mount Cook guided tours, or Mount Cook like guided tours from Christchurch to Mount Cook, from Queenstown to Mount Cook, or even from, if you want to be closer, Lake Tekapo to Mount Cook. Just look into those options as well. And again, we talked about Intercity.
And so if you want to get some of our suggestions right here for Mount Cook, I'm showing the website yet again. It's that site here. I'm showing the website yet again, but it's kind of really easy to use. So you go on nzpocketguide.com, it's all free. Then you go destination, then South Island. And then if you were to click right here on Mount Cook and Lake Tekapo, we have a lot of information for you. There is a lot of guides right here, complete travel guides and all that. So that would really help you kind of understand what there is in Mount Cook. And even we're talking about the accommodations and all the activities that there is to do there. So again, you go on destination South Island and then Mount Cook, and you have literally our entire travel guide from there. Recently updated as well, which is quite good. All right, so we have Christchurch and Rangiora Rail Action saying, are you going on the Coastal Pacific anytime? Well, funnily enough, we were planning on doing the Coastal Pacific, and then it closed due to COVID and then some landslip and all that. So yeah, I know it's reopened right now, but no, we haven't had remade any plans to do that. But we're heading on the South Island at some point in 2023, so that may be in the plans. But it's kind of like when you push things so far back, then you're like, oh my god, just what else am I doing? So yeah, that's a little bit kind of up in the air right now. So I'm not going to make any promises just because things change so much. Baby Burns is a good tips for Benjamin.
Yeah, he says, do not try to propose on a jet boat. Just don't. Yeah, I can see why. Those 360 spins might just make the ring slip a little.
Yeah. All right. And they continue saying what?
Is there any public transport from Blenheim/Nelson to Queenstown via the West Coast?
If you split in multiple days,
yeah.
yes. If you try to do it all in one go, hell no.
Yeah, you would. For sure, there is the intercity buses which take the route down the West Coast. But yeah, like Robin says, it's unlikely to be in one trip.
Oh no, it's not going to be in one
you
day.
have to you'll probably have to
Yeah.
take. It may take you as far as Greymouth for the first day, and then you'll have to take the bus the second day, a little bit further down, etc., etc. So yeah, there's options. It's just not likely to be all in one go.
All right, I'm just going to quickly show everybody. This is what Kiwi Lauren was talking about. So she has a little bit of a drawing right here where she's tracking savings for her trip to New Zealand with her family. I'm just going to put it like that so you guys can see. So yeah, that's what she was talking about. I finally received it. Pretty cute, pretty cool. All right, where are we at? So everybody was
We're
explaining
talking
that
about
we're talking COVID, yeah.
the big C, now we know.
All right, so Louis says, in France, I made my study in bank/insurance. Can I find a job in this sector on a working holiday visa? That is not really likely, you know.
It's not the usual job.
Yeah, it's
people
not
go
the
for.
usual job that you get on a working holiday visa. I'll be honest with you, Louis. So I'm not sure that's going to be an easy path for you to get those kind of jobs, especially since, you know, usually people on working holiday visa come when they're usually relatively young, and so you're not bringing a lot of experience to the role. So the extra hassle for the employer to have to get somebody that is not going to stay for very long and etc. And on top of it, doesn't bring a ton of experience to the role. It's just a little less chance for you to be getting that job on a working holiday visa. So more some kind of seasonal job is more the kind of things which is usually the kind of job that working holiday makers are taking.
It's more of a guarantee if you go for those seasonal jobs, something that you can rely on more. By all means,
I'm not saying like a flat no. Yeah,
I was going to say, by all means, you can, if you see a job advertisement for something like for something to do with banking or insurance, by all means, you could apply for it. See if you get through the job. Obviously, the pool of applicants in New Zealand is often quite small, so there might be a small chance. However,
we just don't want to get your hopes up, right?
Don't plan your trip around that. Don't expect for that to work. Basically, just give it a go, but don't expect.
Have a backup plan.
Yeah.
All right, so Benjamin says, okay, thanks for the update. You're very welcome. Kiwi Lauren says, gotta run. Stay dry and happy, my internet Kiwi friend. Staying dry is a challenge at the moment in New Zealand.
Nice seeing you, Kiwi Lauren.
Yeah, Nur says, cool, thanks. You're very welcome.
welcome.
Nur. Christchurch and Rangiora Rail Action says, you should go on the Northern Explorer. You know, it's one of those funny things, right? We've seen every single one of the sites that you can see through the Northern Explorer, and the Tongariro National Park is kind of our backyard. So we live in central North Island as well, and so it's kind of like you don't necessarily want a different way to see like the same thing. You know, we feel like we take it for granted, right? We hike over there very regularly, literally. We were hiking there like a couple of weeks ago. Last week, there you go. So, you know, it's one of those things. So yes, we definitely should just to try it and see how it is. And also, you know, we sometimes have some Patreon supporters like Anthony that take them like quite regularly. That take them, and we see like footage and videos and photos of it quite regularly. And Anthony is actually just saying that when he was in New Zealand, he took the Northern Explorer from Wellington to Auckland, and they left them stranded in Papakura. Other than that, there was some good sceneries. He saw on the train when they looked out, so that was pretty good. So for example, Anthony, he's one of our Patreon subscribers, and so some of our Patreon, they send us a big amount of photos, and so we look at them all together, you know, during one of the live shows. So literally today, after this live show, I'm gonna go on the Patreon live show, and we're gonna spend an hour looking at Anthony's photos. So it's kind of like, we should definitely do the Northern Explorer, but it's kind of like, it's just so close. All right, so we have Ronaldo that says, Merry Christmas to you both. Merry Christmas. In fact, if you want to know how we say it in kind of like Maori, it's Merry Kirimete. I hope I pronounced that properly, but Matua X is going to correct me if I said it wrong. All right, so we have Christchurch and Rangiora Rail Action saying, I don't know why, but we may have upsetted somebody. Okay, Chow Mein says, can I quickly ask which one would you recommend? Challenge rafting in Queenstown or short-over rafting in Queenstown? Oh, two companies. Which one do you want, Laura?
Well, I was just looking into shot over rafting. We've done challenge rafting.
Yeah.
We can highly recommend them. They're really awesome. Shot over rafting, is that Real NZ? Or Go Orange? There's a couple of...
Real NZ and Go Orange are the same company.
Are the same company, yeah.
They're the same company anyway.
So maybe that's what they're referring to for shot over rafting. Because they both go on the shot over river, right? There's option.
Yeah.
So challenge rafting also goes on the shot over river.
So the short answer for you, Charmaine, is that we haven't done the shot over rafting Queenstown, but they do the challenge. We have done the challenge rafting Queenstown, and we had a really good time. It is likely that I don't want to update Windows. Stop it.
Yeah.
So,
So it looks like, Real NZ's rafting operation is quite new. We haven't had chance to do it yet.
River. There's a lot of places
Yeah.
where they use the same river because it's already graded and it's already done properly. So it's probably a very similar tool. So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be a major difference. One that we can recommend and vouch for will be the challenge rafting in Queenstown because we know them.
And
we tried them.
And you can check out a video of us doing. It was when we did the challenge rafting. It was called a different company name, but if you search Queenstown Rafting NZ Pocket Guide on the channel, you can see us doing that tour with that company with challenge rafting. So check that out.
So you can see the entire the entire run.
Yeah, you can see what it's like just from watching that video.
All right. So Christchurch. You know what? I'm going to call you Christchurch. That's a long username. So Christchurch says, because of the stranded story, he was saying, so we didn't offend anyone. That's a stranded story. Yeah, Anthony did not enjoy that part of his trip.
Yeah.
Okay, so Louis says, which sport is more popular in New Zealand? Rugby is really your religion?
Almost a religion, I think.
It is very, very popular, mate.
Rugby is, I have to say, it's probably... It is like the most popular team sport in New Zealand. Cricket is a close following, second place, I'd say, for sports that everybody is nuts about. But yeah, definitely rugby is higher on the list than football.
The one thing I'm going to say, though, is that there is a fun fact, is that if you look at the license, like people which are licensed to a sport or have a club membership or anything like that, rugby is nowhere near number one, and in fact cricket is nowhere near number one either.
It's
golf is actually the sport with the highest amount of licensed member in the country.
Yeah.
And you will find a lot, even like very small golf course, even in small villages of like 1,500 people, they will have a golf club right here. So golf is definitely very, very popular here in New Zealand. And I've been in New Zealand for over 12 years now, and people have tried to rope me in countless amount of membership for golf courses, but I've never been offered a membership for any like rugby club or anything like that. So here you go.
We've even
maybe it says about my physical acumen. I don't know. Maybe I should take offense.
You look more like a golfer, especially the way you're dressed right now. You look like you're ready for the greens. Where were we at? Chow Mein says, thanks a lot. I love New Zealand. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas to you, Chow Mein. Yeah, when are you coming to New Zealand? Do let us know. Also, we do this live show every week, so feel free to pop in at the same time every week. Same day, same time. We do that. So
even on Christmas Day, guys, we gotta be here.
We gotta be here.
Please don't leave us alone on Christmas Day.
Okay.
Christchurch says, I wouldn't either. Any recommendations for things to do in the North Island because I'm in the South Island?
It's things that we really enjoy. So it depends, like, if you're really into the outdoors and you want to get out and everything. But it looks like you're into trains, right? So if I was to recommend you like a train-related activities to do in the North Island, I will talk about the Gisborne Vintage Railway. So the Gisborne Vintage Railway is pretty cool. It's actually one of the only railway in the world that actually crosses an airfield, which is kind of a fun fact. And you can see a video of us doing it on the channel. It's kind of a lot of fun. Not my personal kind of favorite things to do on the North Island, by no stretch, right? But I feel like if it's something that you're really into, that you may just really enjoy that. Some of our favorites, like the Tongariro Crossing, there is the Pinnacle Walk in the Coromandel Peninsula, which is really awesome. You can summit beautiful Mount Taranaki, even in the Taranaki region. Just driving, just a road trip along the Surf Highway 45 is absolutely fantastic.
Or the Forgotten World Highway.
Yeah, driving the Forgotten World Highway is epic. Taking a cruise.
I was going to say another railway related activity you may want to do is the Forgotten World railway. Yes. It's called Forgotten World Adventures. Forgotten World Adventures. So they put you on a rail cart, and you can either do an electric rail cart where you don't have to do any effort whatsoever, or you can do a pedaling rail cart, so you can pedal your way.
True. You can see us doing that as well. Yeah, the electric cart really zero effort at all.
Yeah, and there's also rail karting in Gisborne as well as rail karting in Awakeri, which is just outside of Whakatane.
And I like the fact that Anthony Comstock is pitching in and say that on the North Island there is Weta Cave Unleashed up in Auckland, and there is the Weta Caves in Wellington, and there is Hobbiton. So here you go. He's recommending those ones if you are a bit of a Lord of the Ring nerd. But if you give us a little bit more context, it's usually a little bit easier for us to make recommendations.
What sort of things are you looking
What you're
looking
into?
for?
Because every traveler is different, right? And the thing that we really try to do with our travel guides that I'm showing on screen multiple times, and even with this channel, is that we are, we're taking not a blogger kind of approach, right? We're taking more of a journalistic approach, and we try to give you a factual account of what you're going to get in all the different activities. Because otherwise, I'm going to tell you activity A is absolute crap because Robin doesn't like it, and it's just not fair because you may really enjoy it because we have different taste and we do understand that we are different humans. And so for that reason, we try to be much more factual. So the more context you give us, the more we can tailor recommendations to you rather than our own taste. Because not everybody likes to do a 20-kilometer hike up a cliff. It's not necessarily for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So after that big rant, Lawrence is saying...
is horse racing also popular? Thanks for the... a lot of people wouldn't have got it unless you've done that.
I'm here to help.
And she says, I talked to someone and said, I was surprised to see so many fields with horses. And they mentioned horse racing is a big deal. Yeah, horses and horse trekking, horse racing.
New Zealand is the only country in the world I've ever been to. Oh, no, that's not true. I went to the Melbourne Cup. I was about to say, New Zealand was the only country in the world I ever went to horse racing.
Really?
But, no, actually, I went in Australia,
as well. Yeah. So, horse racing is also pretty popular.
But it's popular when it's like a big event.
Yeah, it's like if there's a racing day, people go in their fancy gear and go and be fancy.
There's one coming up soon in Auckland.
It's kind of an event. One thing that a lot of people don't know about Matamata, which is more known for Hobbiton. Everybody knows about Matamata because that's where Hobbiton is, or really nearby.
But did you know that you can race hobbits over there? What? Sorry, horse racing. Sorry.
Yeah, yes, but it's also very well known for its horse sort of, I guess, horse breeding for the horse races and stuff. Like there's a big horse scene in Matamata.
Yeah. And it's like a big, like they sell like all horse auctions and everything like that in Matamata as well.
Yeah, so that's the thing about Matamata. So if you want to go and
that's the day she felt a local. That's the day Laura felt like a Matamata.
Yeah, so there is horse racing for sure.
All right, Benjamin has an interesting question. Is there a specific or traditional New Zealand Christmas food to look out for?
I'd say the most traditional thing that Kiwis have at Christmas is a pavlova. So this is...
but you can have it not just at Christmas. It's not specific Christmas, but that's when they make the effort to make it. Yes. I just want to put some framing, but yeah.
Because, in the supermarkets around Christmas time, you'll see all these pre-made meringues, like circular cake-shaped meringues. And then, then New Zealanders will go ahead, and it's always sold with, lots of cream next to it, because then you whip up the cream and then decorate it with fresh fruit. So it's a really light dessert to have, obviously because Christmas is falling in summer in New Zealand, despite what the weather is telling us this year. And yes,
I still believe it's mid-autumn.
Yeah. So usually, New Zealanders want to look for something less hearty than maybe the Northern Hemisphere Christmas. Usually, people are having like really hearty meals, which is going to just make you way too stuffed, way too hot, way too...
But usually you do barbecue here in Christmas.
Yeah,
that's usually what's happening, right?
So the main traditional food would be a pavlova, but moving on to what Robin was just saying, then if you as something a bit also kind of traditional is just having a barbecue outside, because it's summer and New Zealanders love any excuse to have a barbecue, and Christmas is a good excuse.
Aside from that, you have a lot of traditional kind of English food, like those fruit cake,
mince pies, fruit cake as well. Yeah,
fruit cake, mince pies. Is that those things with the minced fruit in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Not pies with beef mince in there.
No.
It's just anyway, hams. Those kind of things. So otherwise, it's like very kind of like more traditional English, to the great dismay of many people living here. But that's okay. That's fine. We're not in New Zealand for the food, are we? Okay, so Lawrence has a suggestion as well. I can't read it though. It doesn't.
Yeah, Marmite fruitcake with crumbled wheat bix on top. So
if you guys don't know, there is a kind of running joke. So Lawrence is one of our Patreon, and there is a kind of a running joke. There is a couple of food that really, really cannot. I can't even...
Stomach.
Oh, absolutely. So Marmite is like a typically Kiwi thing, and Weet-Bix as well. And I have like you know, like a mission. I'm holding the flag, that mission against this kind of food, so that's why she's making that joke. Just giving some context to everybody. I don't also often like having inside jokes, and everybody's like, what is it talking about? I feel bad about it. Okay. Anthony Comstock says, stay safe, but I'm here until the end. Yep, we have an extra last 5 minutes. And then, Anthony, we're doing the Patreon live show. We're going to look at your photos. It's going to be heaps of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Benjamin says, barbecue on the beach sounds good. You said the perfect point, Robin. How's the weather around? You mentioned autumn. Yeah, like usually, I mean, we talked, actually, if you watched the live show from last week, we actually talk about what the usual temperature in New Zealand in summer is. However, this summer is kind of nonsensical, and yeah, we are having a really, really wet summer right now, where literally summer starts on the 1st of December, and Laura was saying that we probably only had about 1 day with no rain since the beginning of the month, and we are already the 18th. So it is an unusually basically super wet, super wet summer.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, and that's the problem with global warming. You know, the weather patterns are all over the place. So yeah, if you want to see us discuss what the usual weather in New Zealand is in December, watch last week's live session. But yeah, right now it's very, very, very wet. So I know you're leaving very soon. It's very, very wet. You have to have a really good rain jacket.
Best to be prepared for everything.
Yeah, it has not stopped raining, and we got drenched pretty much daily since December. Okay, Louis is saying something.
I have read somewhere we need to have a minimum money for coming to New Zealand, but how can I prove I have it?
So you're talking about the working holiday visa. So in order for you to know how much money you do need to have, it depends on your country and where you're from. And legally in New Zealand, we do not have the right to give you some immigration advice. So you'll have to go on immigration.govt.nz to find that out. However, I can tell you how to actually prove that you do have these funds. So in order to prove that you have this fund, you will need to print a recent bank account statement showing that you have these funds, and they will then kind of convert it into that amount. If they ask it to you, they'll convert it into New Zealand dollars and see that you have those funds. Those funds need to be available to withdraw, so they cannot be like a credit or anything, or line of credit or anything like that. And you probably need much more than that. So Laura and I used to, before COVID and inflation, recommend to have 5,500 New Zealand dollars plus a flight and insurance, plus return flight and insurance in order to have enough money to come to New Zealand.
And insurance is mandatory for the working holiday visa.
Yeah, and we do have articles on which insurance you should be getting on the NZ Pocket Guide for you. So I want to just finish this train of thought. 5,500 New Zealand dollars, what plus return flight and insurance on top of that was the bare minimum that we used to recommend to people. Right now we're kind of working on doing like math and everything like that just to make sure that we're okay. But it's probably right now we're recommending 6,500 New Zealand dollars of funds available before coming to New Zealand, plus your return flight, so fully paid, and your insurance for the whole year. That's what we usually recommend for when it comes down to savings. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I just put it in when I did.
It's all good. I'm going to show you again one more thing, Louis. So if you go on the site right here and literally right there, you type insurance. We actually recommend insurance provider that will provide you good health coverage when in New Zealand, which are local. So we have plenty of articles just right here. So we basically done all the homework for your gap year in New Zealand, my friend. So you can just head to the website and start browsing, and you'll be all sorted. Oof. All right, Anthony, give us a nice little emoji. Did I just change stuff? Yes, I did change stuff. Now, we are almost done with the NZ Travel Show for this week. Yes, we know it is going to be Christmas Day next weekend. However, we're still going to be here because of the time difference. For you guys, may be different, but it's probably going to be a pretty slow NZ Travel Show. So if you feel like actually getting a lot of your questions answered, that may be the great day for you to pop in. Not like they're ever really busy. Let's be honest. We always have just a handful of people that we help. It's all good. So this week we have another episode of Almonds coming up. We have two recap of NZ, the New Zealand's biggest gap year. So we have all those, and then we see you the week after. In the meantime, we're going to be working on updating the website and keeping you all informed about traveling in New Zealand. In order to wrap up the show, we are going to go over the question of the day. Laura, sing for us.
All right, question
Were you saying
of
just
the
no?
day.
Were you actually talking about the answer, the number
No,
one
no,
answer?
no. I was saying no to singing the question of the day.
All right, so today we asked you.
Do you use packing cubes when traveling?
Number one answer was
No!
no. Hell no.
50%.
You
Half
guys
of
are all
you.
disorganized when traveling.
Half of you were like,
Nonsense.
hell no, I'm not organising
I
my
love packing
suitcase or
cubes.
my backpack. 45% of you, however, said yes.
45% of people are
I
right.
like to stay organised. And then we have a measly 4% saying no, but I should.
Here you go. That means we probably convinced 4%
One
of
person.
people. Yeah.
Or two people.
All right, so thank you very much to everybody that voted. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, we see you all next week for the next NZ Travel Show. Bye-bye.
See you next week, and Merry Christmas to
Yeah.
you all.
And to all the Patreons, the next live show is starting in literally 2 minutes. See you shortly.
Bye.